In today's video, I'm going to talk about parenting fails. What happens when we lose it? What happens when we yell at our children even though we had decided we wouldn't yell anymore? What happens when we call names or shame our children even though we had decided we didn't want to be that kind of parents? Because all of us have moments of weakness, all of us have moments when we are just overtired and overstressed, and only God has never-ending patience. So how do we deal with these parenting fails? How do we heal? How do we mend the relationship with our children? And how do we forgive ourselves so that we can move forward? If that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Soraya, I'm a mother of two, and here on this channel I talk about everything related to motherhood, children empowerment, and social-emotional learning. So if these are topics you're interested in, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss one of my videos. Recently I've been putting out lots of videos about toddler tantrums, why they happen, how to manage them. I've also shared some very effective tips and techniques on how to assert your authority without yelling. But today I want to take a minute to talk about parenting fails. There are always times in our life that are more stressful, or where we just feel like we can't get it together, where we just feel like things aren't working. And so if you've been in that situation for a couple of days or week and you've become a parent that you don't want to be, you've become a shouty mom, or you've been using time out too much, or you've spanked your children even though you really don't want to, sometimes you can feel really discouraged and it can be hard to see the way out. There are so many things that come into play. The first one being how we were raised as children. Sometimes you may know that some of the things that happened to you in your childhood were harmful and damaging for yourself and for your relationship, with your parent. But it's still very hard to get away from something that you've learned and internalized at such a young age and to do things differently. And I really believe that becoming a parent somehow forces you to face your biggest fears and to face your biggest shortcomings. If you are short-tempered, if you have a tendency to yell, if you don't have a healthy way of expressing your disagreement or your disapproval or your anger or your frustration, then all of this will come out when you become a parent. And so this is really a time when you suddenly have to unlearn bad habits that you have had since very early childhood and try and learn new ways to deal with things. And that's why it can be really difficult. It is difficult to unlearn bad habits that you have learned as a very young child, but also it is difficult to remain, incredibly patient and kind and gentle when you may be going through really stressful times in your life. You may be going through really stressful period at work. You may be overexhausted for whatever reason. You may be sick. And so it's really hard to be the parent you want to be with all of these things happening. And so I just want to take a minute to remind myself and everyone that no one is born a great parent. Being a good parent is something that we learn. No one is born knowing how to rock a baby to sleep. No one is born knowing how to soothe a crying toddler. No one is born knowing how to handle a tantrum. It's something that we learn along the way. And so just like we learn all these things, we can learn to be better parents every single day. And nothing is magical. I've been sharing loads of tips and techniques with you, and these work. I am using them every single day and they have made a massive difference in our life, and I encourage you to try and implement them. But nothing is magical. You're not going to read a book or watch a video or learn a new parenting hack and all of a sudden magically become an amazing parent. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes you every single day waking up and deciding that you're going to do better than yesterday. No one is born a great parent, and no one has never-ending patience, and no one is perfect every single day, every single minute of every single day. We all have parenting fails, but what's important is to get ourselves together, try to mend the relationship with our child, forgive ourselves so that we can move forward. So what do you do when you're at the bottom of the hole? You've been yelling at your kids too much and you just feel so discouraged and you feel like this is not the kind of mom I want to be and I don't know how to get to where I want to be, and I feel like I keep trying but every time I just give in and yell, I just lose it. How do I get to the other side? Well, the road to success is a long and difficult road. Don't expect from yourself to wake up tomorrow and never yell at your kids again. If you've been yelling at your kids for an extended period of time and you've been going through this intense period of being so incredibly tired and stressed and none of your basic needs are being met, which means that you're not in a place where you have the strength and energy and emotional availability to self-regulate and be able to be the parent you want to be. You have to start by, working on yourself. You have to start by putting your oxygen mask on. You have to start by thinking about, how do I meet my own needs so that I am in a place emotionally and physically where I can work on my parenting skills so that I can be the parent I want to be? How do I get more hours of sleep? How do I make sure that I get enough nutritious food every single day? How do I make sure that I get enough oxygen? How do I make sure that I get out and breathe some fresh air every single day? How do I create a space for myself to think and to find myself again so that I'm able to function as a human being? We all need a space to ourselves. We all need a space to be alone and to think and to reconnect with ourselves. We all need a space to, talk to God if we have a faith, if we're a believer. And so how do you make this happen for you? And it's important that you make that effort of making this happen because you need to get better in order to be a better parent. And then you need to remember that it's going to take time and effort to get to where you want to be. You're going to try and implement those tips. You're going to try and follow those techniques. And today is going to be hard. Tomorrow is going to be a little easier. You're going to yell today. Tomorrow you're going to yell a little less, and then the day after a little less, until a couple of weeks from now, suddenly you realize, hey, I haven't yelled in a while. Some days are going to be harder than others because life throws challenges at you. So some days are going to be harder than others, but you always know that you can get better. Every single day is an opportunity to do better. Now, something that's important when you do go through a phase like that, when you have some parenting fails, is to work on repairing your relationship with your child, because every time you yell, every time you spank, every time you lose patience, every time you shame, every time you call names, you hurt your relationship with your child, you damage your relationship with your child. And relationships, even though of course you love your child unconditionally and they love you unconditionally as well, but relationships take work and effort, and where the relationship has been damaged, you need to actually make an effort to mend it. So how do you do that with a very young child? Well, the first step is by acknowledging what happened and talking to them about it. And the second step is to ask them for forgiveness. So what I do is that when I have a really hard day and I realize that I haven't been the parent I want to be on that day, and I've yelled at my child. Thank God, I'm really grateful that God has always given me the grace to never be physically violent with my children. So I never spanked or hit my kids, but I've definitely yelled and I've definitely said some hurtful things in my anger. And I deeply regret that, and I feel terrible about it. And this is not the kind of parent that I want to be. But just because I've been that way one day doesn't mean that I am stuck there. I can get better every day, and I work on myself to be better every day. And so when this happens, I never put my toddler to bed without talking about it. So when she goes to bed, right before she goes to sleep, I talk to her about the day and I tell her, Emma, today has been a hard day for me. I'm really, really tired. I haven't been able to sleep well for a couple of nights now, and I'm really stressed. And, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of things and I'm finding it really hard. And so this is why I lost my patience and I shouted, but I shouldn't have. That was wrong. And this is not the way that we deal with situations. This is not the way that we express our feelings. And I am trying to be better and I will try not to do it again. And I hope that you can forgive me. And I ask her for forgiveness. I tell her, I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? And she doesn't have to say yes, because she also has to think about it and she also has to decide when she's healed and when she's ready to forgive me. But the beauty about very young children is that they're always ready to give you a second chance because they cannot wait for you to be your best. And they love you so much no matter what, and they think you are the best no matter what. And it's important to remind yourself of that. Your child loves you so much, and you are your child's favorite person in the world. There's no one in their eyes who is as amazing and wonderful and perfect as you. This is how they see you. So every day is a new day and a new opportunity to do better. So ask your child for forgiveness, and then comes the even harder part, which is to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself in order to move on. You are not a terrible parent. You are not a terrible mom. You are not a horrible person. You're just going through a very hard time. But now that you've realized it, you're going to get yourself together. You're going to do what it takes to heal yourself so that you can be a better parent for your child. You're going to do what it takes to do better tomorrow and do better the day after, until you reach that point where you are the parent you want to be. You can be the parent you want to be. It just takes work and time. But start by forgiving yourself. So if you're going through a hard time right now and you've had one or a series of parenting fails and you feel so discouraged and you feel so guilty and you feel like you are a terrible mom, I just want to give you courage and strength and remind you that you are an amazing mother. You are the best mother for your child. And just the fact that you care about this, that you're thinking about this, that you're wanting to do better, that you realize your own shortcomings, shows how much you care, how much you love your child, and how much effort you're willing to put in to do better. Tomorrow is a new chance for you to do better, and you will do better. What's important is that you always have your child's best interest in mind and that you're always striving to be the best mother or the best parent that you can ever be. I am sending you all my love and all my strength, and I am telling you, you can do this. You can get back on track. I have been there. I have yelled at my kids in ways that I am so ashamed of. But today I'm in a better place. Today I'm able to implement some of these tips and techniques that I have been sharing with you, and I am closer to this ideal of parenthood that I am striving for. I'm not perfect. I still have fails. I still go through bumps on the road, but I am getting there slowly and surely, and every day I'm doing better than yesterday, and so can you. If you have found today's video to be helpful, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment in the comment section below. It really helps my channel when you do that, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you're made aware when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day.